everybody, it's Kristin and welcome to a Throwback Thursday. 2 weeks in a row with a Thursday video, but you can very well have a Throwback Thursday on a Saturday or a Tuesday, now can ya? So if you are new to Throwback Thursday, first of all, welcome. And secondly, Throwback Thursday is when I will go back to my favorites, and I go back 2 years ago and see what those favorites were, see if I still like them, if I use them, what the scoop is with them, and come back and report that to you guys. I feel like the sun is creating some sort of a little fogginess in the camera, so I hope that that is actually not the case. But anyway, this idea was created by Marnie from Miss Girl, and a lot of us have jumped on and are doing it. Some people are doing on Fridays, like a flashback Friday, so at any rate, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I talked about that month was 2 fragrances. One of them being the BCBG Max Azaria, and it was in Bone Chic. It was a little fragrance that had come in a beauty box, and I did really like that. I used it up completely. I didn't repurchase it though because I had so many left to use, but I remember it when I watched back the video. I talked about it a little bit, so I kind of remember that the scent was, it was kind of florally, I think is what I said, and had a little bit of deepness to it. I do remember liking it. I just didn't repurchase it. And I will, by the way, go ahead and list that video, the original haul video below for you guys, as well as my Throwback Thursday playlist in case you want to check any of the rest of them. Okay, the other thing that I had on there was this Jo Malone Vanilla and Anise, or Anise, take your pick, fragrance. And this was a little kind of deluxe sample that a friend had sent me. And I do still really like this. I think I just stopped using it because I was afraid it would be gone. So I do still really like this, and I like, I haven't ever purchased a full size of any Jo Malone fragrance, but I have lots of different samples of them that I've collected along the way, or, you know, friends have sent me or whatever, and I like them. They are very, most of them aren't very multi-dimensional. They're very simple fragrance, and it's a nice fragrance if you're putting it on, just you kind of want to smell it. You don't want the world to smell you, if that makes any sense. Okay, I have my list right here in case you're wondering what I'm looking at. The next thing on here, when I watched this back, I was like, oh, I totally forgot about that. And this actually was a bath bar by Burt's Bees, and it's the Energizing Bath Bar. There were little like chunks of orange in it, and there was exfoliating like granules in it. I really liked that, and it reminded me that I would like to go and find one. I think our health food store sells the Burt's Bees bath products, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look for that. I can't say I do really still like it. I remembered loving it, but I didn't repurchase it. So that's one of the things I really enjoy about these videos is going back and being like, oh yes, I totally remember that, and then falling back in love with something. The next one is the shadow I totally could have included in my summer shades, and I don't know why I didn't. I loved the shadow. It just kind of got tucked to the back of my singles drawer, and this is a little shadow by Elizabeth Arden, and I'm not sure if this is how their shadows come, or if this was just in like a gift with purchase set or something like that, because I've not purchased anything but a highlighter. I have a highlighter from them. I had to think about that for a minute. This was sent to me by Pixi from Pixi and Pink a long time ago, a couple years, obviously. And this is in Sunset. It's such a pretty shade. If I can find it, and this is what I'm wearing all over my lids today. If I can find it, if it exists out there, I will link it for you below. It's just a really pretty, easy kind of throw on the lid, beautiful shade, wears well, really pretty. So again, it was one of those things I was like, oh, I totally forgot about that shade. One that I have not forgotten about and have talked about over and over is the e.l.f. Baked Eyeshadow in Bark, which is this one. I also have Burnt Plum and Toasted that I really like. That's what Burnt Plum looks like. So I have still talked about this. I still love it. I just think the formula on these is so nice. You can use these wet or dry. And it's just so nice. Let me show you a swatch of that wet. Okay, so see, that's wet and that's dry. And the dry is just smooth as silk. It's nice, easy, kind of deepen up the crease shade. But if you use it wet, like all over your lid, it's just gorgeous, stunning metallic-iness. So I just thought I would show you guys that. Okay. The next thing that I have on here was something that I had been reminded about in that video to go and pull out, and I have used this quite a few times since then. I think it's made it into a couple of favorites as well. So this is, and then I kind of stopped, before I tell you what it is, then I kind of stopped talking about it because I don't think you can get it all the time. I will look, and of course link below if I can. This is a Pigment from Mech, and it's in Jigs and Jives. So I got this in a kit around, let me see if I can, the holidays. It was one of those pigment kits that comes in like the little vial thing, and there's 5 or 6 pigments in one kit. There's a swatch on my finger. And let's go right here with it. It's just a beautiful taupe. It's gorgeous. Oh, yeah. And that wet is also, I mean, while we're at it, let's just do it. I'm not sure you'll be able to see the difference in this one wet. And I know that I have used it both ways. I feel like when I apply this one wet on the lid, it brings out a little more metallicness in it that's not kind of happening in the swatch there. But so dry and wet. You can see a little bit of a difference there, but at any rate, it's a really nice pigment. Those, if you like to play with pigments, which I do, even though they're messy, I still enjoy playing with them. I actually have some that'll be in my favorites this month. The Christmas kits are really good value. I think you get a lot of product because you're never going to use a whole pigment generally if you're buying a whole pigment from Mech. But so the little sample ones are a great bargain. Okay, moving on. Next is a product I know I've talked about several times, and I had just purchased this at that point in time. This is the Sony Kashuk Ion Neutral, the matte palette. You can see, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see with the light there. So I've hit pan on this one. I have really good dips in a lot of the warm kind of transition shades. I do still think this is a great value. I believe it's still available. It sells for about $20. And it's really nice. It's a great matte palette. There are other matte palettes out there that maybe aren't quite as chalky as this one. But I do still really like this. And I clearly still use it a lot. The next thing that I had on here was the Natural Shock palette from Maybelline Eye Studio. And let me just give you swatches of these. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, but I have a pretty good dip in some of those. I still like this. I don't always appreciate the glitter that is in it, in the darker colors. So there they are right there. But my favorite is probably this shade right there. Stunning. So that one, and I still have that in my collection. I have cleaned out a lot of those drugstore quads and that sort of thing I didn't use as much, so that says something that it is still in my collection. I only had one blush that month, and this one I've also talked about since then. I love it when I go back to my favorites, and the products are still things that I have talked about and used in the last, couple of years. And this is the MAC Mineralized, MAC Extra Dimension Blush in that Dusk. I can't remember when I just recently talked about this, but I did. So it looks like that, and that is what I'm wearing on my cheeks today. It's just a really pretty neutral. They re-promote this quite a bit. That's what it looks like. But you can see, if you remember, normally this has like a big whole like raised swoop on it, so that shows you how much I have used of that. I really love this product. Really, really a nice blush. It just has a little bit of a sheen to it. Nothing earth-shattering, but just a little something that I really like in that blush. Okay, this is funny because this was kind of my first love, or my first discovery of the Pixi Endless Silk Eye Pencils they're from Target, they're by Pixi. So this actually is my second or third of the black cocoa, and that was the one, I didn't have the kit yet. I had just gotten the black cocoa in an Allure beauty box, and I love these. Since then, you guys have seen me talk about probably the kit of 5 that came out. I've seen that here and there. I've seen it pop up on Haute Look. I've seen it on something else. I can't remember, but if I can find it anywhere, that kit of 5 different colors, I will link it below because they're great. I really like the Pixi eye pencils. They are my favorite drugstore. I know they're a little bit pricier for drugstore, but they are for sure my favorite drugstore eyeliner. I think I can safely say that. And then this was when Sigma started selling the selling their brushes singly. This one was from the Performance Kit. I've talked about this a bunch of times. This is the Sigma E21. I have tried to find like a drugstore dupe of this, or even a high-end dupe of this brush, and I've not been able to currently. So I've tried a Sony Kashuk one. There's a Sephora one. I'm trying, I promise. But that's what it looks like. It's just perfect for when you lay down like a pencil liner to smudge it out along your lash line, and make sure you're smudging it down into your lash line. It's a great brush. And I will say this very quickly so that I don't go into it, otherwise I get a ton of questions. The reason I'm trying to find dupes for my Sigma brushes or replacements, is I've been disappointed in some of the replacements that I've ordered. I don't feel that they are as good of quality as the ones that I have. And I cannot in good conscience recommend to you brushes that I have and say, oh, I love this E21 from Sigma, you know, you might want to try it. When you order an E21, you get it, it might not be what I have. So I hope that makes sense. But at any rate, I just thought I would mention that. And then the very last thing is the Rimmel Show Off in Aurora. And actually not in this empties, but last month I threw that out because I had pulled it out and it had separated and gone bad. And at least I know that it lasted a couple of years. I felt like I didn't have it that long, but a couple of years is probably a long time to have a lip product. So I did like that. I had a couple of them. They both have gone bad now, so I don't use them anymore. But so anyway. So that is my Throwback Thursday. I hope that you guys enjoyed this and that you're still enjoying me doing these videos. On my face today, I have the Dior Star foundation, a combination of 10 and 20. And as I said, I have at Dusk on my cheeks. On my eyes, I have the Elizabeth Arden Sunset, and then I have a few shades from the Sony Kashuk Ion Neutral palette. And then as my liner today, I used the Fringe from the Urban Decay Electric palette as my liner. And on my lips today, I think that's the last thing that I have to tell you, is the Giorgio Armani Maestro in number 504. I'll just show you here and you can see on my lips because I don't want to stain my hands. I'm off to church for the baptism of the twins. So, all right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you're having a great week and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.